Alright guys, welcome back to the Stanley Parable Deluxe on my new PlayStation 5. We're going to check out this door that opens, says new content.
Oh,
It's
new
very,
content?
I'm very tired too.
What does that mean, new content?
Shucks, I don't know. Not as good as I do. Oh, okay, off to load a new area. I love Portal. Just playing Stanley Parable on my new PlayStation 5. Here's my
Hello,
Morgan
and
Freeman
thank
impression.
you for playing the Stanley Parable
And
Ultra
the present.
Deluxe.
The
As
guy
you may
who
know, the
knows.
Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
Yeah, I remember it.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe,
Okay,
a
that's the game
reimagining
I'm
of the
playing
game
right
for
now.
consoles and home computers.
Yeah.
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
The world.
Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Okay, this is very
Well,
fun.
this sounds delightful.
It is
I'm
delightful.
very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Me too. Ultra Deluxe. You really gotta call it Ultra
Okay,
Deluxe.
so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Me too. Elevator?
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere? Or,
It is
oh, there we
almost
go.
midnight.
All right, finally, at
Mm,
long
the best
last,
part
it's
of
on
this.
to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Woo.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if the...
Mostly tedious.
Let's see the content.
It's as
Give me
if
the
what?
content, Stanley.
It's a cheap cash grab.
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Oh my gosh, you can jump. It's not very good. It's not a very good jump. You can only jump in the jump circle. And you only get a certain amount of jumps. Look, you can jump in and land out. I'm trying to land on the table. But I guess I'm gonna use all the jumps. Look, if you jump while crouching, you can just... No, no, no. Nice jumping in this game. The frick? Why would they do that, man?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
I enjoyed jumping.
Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say,
No,
initial
I was very
impressions of this game are not positive.
Very
it's
positive.
just elevators and jumping.
I
Is
paid
this what
25
passes
bucks
for
for this.
exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe,
That would actually be
now
really
with over
interesting.
1,000 hours of new content. And
would buy it
oh,
too.
wait, there's more. Very good.
I would do it.
Yes. I knew there had to be something else.
I'd listen to you count to 30
I'm
trillion.
ready for whatever it is.
New content, new content.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar.
Yeah,
And don't get me started on the level
Stanley
of
Parable could have
craftsmanship
just
that's gone
been a
into it.
port.
In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies.
There's only
and
12,
it's hard to
dude.
believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore."
Wait, no.
What
Does it
quality
actually?
assurance department
I'm
signed
looking right
off
now.
on this? I'm infuriated and I'm
Yes.
offended.
Oh,
I
you're
intend
right.
to find these people on Twitter and hold them
You're
personally
right.
accountable.
One of them literally does say that.
It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much
Oof,
anticipation
that
around the
hurts.
new
I'm
content, I'm
getting old.
afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations.
I need to
If you're
quit my
still
day
with me,
job.
why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about?
What's the Stanley
No
Parable really about?
frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do
Okay,
you
give me
say,
a British
friend?
humor. Oh, so like that's the whole content. That's what I paid extra money. Something's not right. That's what I should be seeing.
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In
Okay.
the vent.
I trust you,
I want to
narrator.
show you something.
I trust you so much, narrator. Whee! I trust the narrator at this point so much. We've gone through it, you know.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be.
Yeah,
So I
it was
made
so
something
pure.
special and tucked it away here where the game's developers
What
won't
the
find
frick?
it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory
Oh my
Zone.
gosh.
It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences
so
of my
wholesome.
life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
Aww. Dude, I remember that.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind
12
you of how
years ago,
wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap
Aww.
PlayStation port? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched?
I
Back
literally
then,
do.
video games had integrity. Back then,
Yeah.
it all meant something.
Yeah,
Oh, the waste.
I like agree too. 2014 Independent Games Festival Audience Award. The frick? Memory lane. Smile because I've been there. $1. Interesting. But I don't want to just go through more museum stuff. I went through a ton of that earlier, so. Nice little bench that I can sit on. Cool.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable.
Uh-oh.
Like this stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and
Why'd you
now
pick Persona
it's
3?
nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
And the Vader content. Original.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation, boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise.
Okay, it's not really a franchise if you have like one popular PC game. You know, one popular indie PC game. If it's a franchise.
These were simpler times, Stanley.
They were,
What I
though.
wouldn't give
Straight
to
up.
go back, to have it all over again.
Straight up, though.
Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular
Steam.
online storefront for computer games.
Steam.
I haven't looked at these in years. I
Steam.
can't even imagine what's been collecting down here.
Pressurized
Surely
Gas
these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Steam reviews.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and
Oh.
unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than
No.
entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert
It's
into
kind
the
of
Stanley
artistic.
Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Yeah, it was a really good piece of art. It's a game. More Steam reviews. I like that they're green and red. Can we get out of the memory zone? I want new content.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me.
I don't think so.
Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with.
I mean, I don't know,
You
man.
can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't
That's
quite as
really
sterling
sad.
as I always remembered.
Stanley Parable was like a
What's this
pop
one got to
culture
say?
phenomenon in this internet
You
stream that I
constantly
was
have
part
to
of.
stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button?
It's
Well-
really depressing.
Well,
man.
yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm
It's starting
truly
to get
too
really
preachy,
depressing.
then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can
starting to get
strike
really
these
sad.
negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's
It's
my
starting
motto
to get
today,
really
and it's
sad.
always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Skip button. Do anything for the customer?
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot.
I shouldn't have
Oh,
done
you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes
I like
and lengthy
this.
ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your great gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made, in fact, make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite? You see, it could in fact be both of these things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them. Okay, at first, I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it.
Treatise.
But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone? It has a mouthfeel. that is rich with ambition and history.
I don't want to skip again. I do not. So I'm
See,
gonna
now you've
play the
gotten me going back to Manifesto.
listen,
Heavens, at this rate, we're going to be here
all.
all day. Okay, look, I have a method for exactly this sort of situation, and I do find myself in this situation frequently. I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the other, in which case the word I am not sick of shall be the victor. It is an unimpeachable strategy, Stanley. It's rescued me from disaster in countless situations.
Manifesto.
All right, here we go. Treatise, manifesto, 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 treatise, manifesto,
Yeah.
treatise, manifesto,
I have to skip this,
treatise,
unfortunately.
manifesto, treatise, manifesto.
Sorry, buddy.
Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their pressurized gas review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on how exactly pressurized gas works. Perhaps that would have been a smart thing to check on before I went on about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is who runs pressurized gas will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review, so that the Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time.
I'm gonna hit it again.
I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of
It's getting back to depressing again. I don't like the beeping.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned and screamed. They gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs down review.
You're really getting caught up by this narrator.
The end is never the end, 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 is never...
Oh boy. Am I supposed to be doing something? Because this is really starting to freak me out. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, it's gone. That's pretty. Reminds me of Portal 2 again. Interesting. Now you're talking about the passage of time. Like 9 years' time. Oh, okay. Remember the Jew. Oh, great. Oof. Gotta hit the button again. No. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh. What is that? It went black. The end is never the end. It's never the end. It's never the end.
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
You okay, buddy? New content. Well, don't mind
Oh,
if I
good.
do.
You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
What is it? What is it? What is it? Show me. I hope the new content's a bunny. Okay, we're gonna skip straight to the elevator.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how
Wow.
roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take
Super
it
ultra
one
deluxe?
step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to
What the
announce for
heck?
the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The end
Yes,
is
you
never the end
see,
again.
isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions.
I don't know.
This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Is it?
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you
I
think?
mean, yeah.
Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
New content is out. New content part 2 is in. Cool red section of the chart. This feels like a funny parody of, like, I don't know, game development again. Ooh, Comic Sans.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it.
Okay.
I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Well, that's not true. Oh my gosh.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
What is happening? Office decorations, reassurance, bucket. The button that says the name of the player who's playing the game. Oh my gosh, where's the button? The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. Do you know my name? Hear your name in the game. Dude,
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself,
I really want the button.
what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and
Oh my
validated
gosh,
as
I'm
people.
so excited.
So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person
I'm so
playing
excited.
the game.
I'm so excited.
Isn't that wonderful?
I'm so excited. I want to try it. I want to try it. Come on.
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
Okay, I'm
I
Jim.
want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and
Sleep.
being
So
heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim.
Jim.
All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
Okay.
Jim.
See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name the button says, but no. Instead, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
What? Did you actually? Oh. No more Jim button. Can I have sprint button or another jump button?
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable 2. An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Wait, there is no end. That's fine. Collectibles. Merch. Free trophy. Oh, heck yeah. Get it here. I want a trophy. Trophy. Pull ever receive a new trophy. No more steps. Okay.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. You see, okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature.
Yeah.
Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Okay. You're starting to sound like the devs. You know that? Mr. Narrator. I'm getting so tired, guys. I don't know how much longer I can play.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Infinite Hole. I can barely keep my eyes open. Open it. Depth infinite. Okay.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game.
Really?
This is, in fact, A hole that you can fall down forever. That's
It's
right.
not true.
Infinite
Definitely
falling.
been done that.
You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You
It's like
see, isn't it
so.
wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we
It's the
can
teleport
continue
button.
onward. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Sorry, I fell in the hole.
Okay, and I guess we're back in the hole now. Did you really need to see it again? I don't know what else there is to say, Stanley. It's an infinite hole. It's exactly what you're doing right now, but forever. There really are so many other fascinating exhibits that I prepared for
It's
you.
fake.
I
I'm
really
just
spent quite a
standing
lot of
still.
time on all this, and I would very much like to show you some more of them. How about we go ahead and press that teleport button again so we can get
Well,
back to what's
I'm not so
really
sure.
important about...
Oh my gosh.
Oh, goodness. Well, this is rather embarrassing,
It's
Stanley.
not infinite.
I'll be honest with you. I truly did not believe that anyone would actually stay in the hole long enough to hit the bottom. Yes, I know
So
I
it's
told
not
you the hole was infinite, but come on. Who actually wants to fall
You're just a
forever?
liar.
The hole was plenty deep. It was more than deep enough, in my opinion.
I just
Maybe
started
it's
reading
you
a
who
book
likes
called
falling
Annihilation,
too
and they
much.
describe
Maybe
this at the
you're
very
the
start.
problem.
A tunnel that looks just like this, but it has
Look,
stairs and it's
things
bigger.
got a little heated there. I think we both
Yeah,
said
it's
some
good.
things
I
we
call it
didn't
tower.
mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the whole mostly infinite? If that
Mostly
works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
I don't know. I expected to do something. Oh, okay, I'm going down.
Oh, for heaven... You see, I was right. The problem is you.
Probably.
The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there, goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of...
What?
Oh. Did the hole seem even
did.
shorter to you this time? I
A
couldn't
lot
help but
shorter.
feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did
Absolutely.
before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I
That's
didn't think
weird.
it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole.
Because
If
you
this
made it
starts
a
to become a
mystery.
thing where...
Now I'm gonna hit the bottom right.
Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less
I
infinite.
don't know, more
I
finite.
suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Okay.
Well, there it is. The shame of my life. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to
can't
do and
get
hit
out.
the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working?
Nuh-uh.
You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out.
Restart?
Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of it.
You just left, bro? It's rude. man. I can't get out. What the heck? Go on. It's actually turning into a hole. Alright, hold on. I'm just changing where I am. Change your perspective. Oh my gosh. That's me, Stanley. You're probably wondering how I got in this position. I like that one. Hmm. Change your perception does nothing. Ooh, that one's real cool. Oh. No, give me dogs again. Oh, that makes me happy. Hmm. Yeah, I love puppies. Oh, they're so cute. Oh my gosh. That's pretty cool. Error. What is this? Change your perception does nothing.
Stanley! Stanley!
What?
Oh,
No.
good, you're awake. It seems you had sort
I
of
was having
dozed
so much
off
fun.
there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to
Just
miss a
me.
single
They're just
moment.
torturing me.
So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle-pip.
Doodle beep. It was weird. Hmm. Oh, it ended. It literally just ended, guys. Why? Was that an ending?
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Yeah, you end up in the hole forever. I'm going to bed.